This is the plaintiff, Sirlene Mellows. She says her landlord, the defendant, won't pay for her damaged belongings when the ceiling of her apartment caved in due to a leak. If that weren't bad enough, the defendant's workers also damaged her belongings when they entered her apartment to fix the floors. She's not the type to be taken advantage of by anyone and is suing the guy for $334.10, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Anthony Primus. He says the plaintiff's a scammer, just looking for a big payout due to some damage caused by Hurricane Irene. The woman stopped paying rent, is living out her security, and should go to her renter's insurance to cover damage caused by the freak storm, which he had no control over. End of story. He's accused of blaming it on Irene. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,600 for back rent owed.
Sirlene Mellows, you are suing A. Primus Realty, owned by Anthony Primus?
Yes.
Okay. Your landlord for $334.10 for damages to your apartment that occurred after Hurricane
Irene.
Hurricane Irene. Hurricane blank. Fill in a name. Tell me, what happened?
Well, when the hurricane came on the 27th, like around 4:50 in the morning on the 28th, I heard a big crash in the apartment. And when I got up and looked, the rain was coming in and everything in the apartment was soaked. The ceiling had fallen and everything. I called Mr. Primus and I informed him what had happened in the apartment. He came later that day and he assessed what happened. And he said, well, don't worry about it. I'll pay you for the rug. And then he started to commence repairs. Two guys came in, repaired the roof, the ceiling in the apartment, and...
Did you ever move out?
No.
Okay.
And they fixed, a part of the floor. The other guy did the painting. That was completed on the Sunday. Well, no one ever showed up after that. I ran into Mr. Primus, and he asked me, had anyone come back to the apartment to make any repairs? I told him no. He said he would call them. I said, at that point in time, when you get a hold of them, have them come on Thursday, because on Wednesday I would be busy. Well, on Wednesday I went to Washington, D.C. with my uncle, taking him sightseeing. And while I was in Washington, Mr. Primus entered the apartment with the repair guy without letting me know that they were coming on that day or anything. And in the process, they moved my furniture that was set up in the living room and broke the entertainment unit and a vase that was sitting there. So I informed Mr. Primus that the entertainment unit had gotten broken and a vase. He said he would come up and see it. I stopped in the restaurant that he owns on the corner. I told him, he said, oh, don't worry, I'll be right up. He never came.
Okay. Did you have the workers go in there on a day that she had asked not to have the workers go in there?
I didn't get that information.
She said she told you. So she's lying?
I don't recall her ever telling me that.
Okay. So did you get a call from her saying, what were the people doing? Who's been sleeping in my bed? It looks like people have been in here. They moved my furniture. Did she call you irate?
She told me some stuff had been broken.
Why aren't you suing them if you feel that they broke your stuff?
Why am I suing Mr.
Yes,
Primus?
why are you suing him
Because
instead?
he let them into the apartment.
And according to you, he let them in on a day when you told him not to let them in?
And especially when I wasn't home, he got no authorization to enter the apartment.
Okay.
I wasn't at home. He went in and saw the place was completely set up. Why would you move my furniture and without telling me anything?
Okay, so what did he do wrong? See, in other words, I know that you have withheld rent now for 2 months, right? In fact, you have a counterclaim against her for $2,600 in rent that she hasn't been paying. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Basically, your entire lawsuit, even if you were to win, is only $334. So what justification do you have for not paying $2,600 in rent?
Okay, when I moved into the apartment, Mr. Primus told me that I would have to pay first month's rent and 2 months security deposit, which I gave him money orders totaling $3,900 to move into the apartment. On the day of signing the lease, he said the reason he collects 2 months of security is because it's the first, last, and security deposit.
Well, it's either security deposit or it's last month's rent. What is your check say? Security deposit or last month?
I just have the 3 checks totaling that amount.
Can I see your checks? And what does the lease say about the money that first went over? Is there 2 months security deposit or one?
No, I never collect 2 months security. It's first month's rent, 1 month security, and I charge a 1 month fee.
What's the fee? What do you mean? Fee for what?
She needed the apartment right away. It was short notice, and I charged her a turnkey fee to get the apartment.
I don't know what that means. What do you mean a 1 month fee?
It was a
meaning that she pays
$1,300
rent for a month that is in your mind and not in the calendar? I don't know.
No, it had nothing to do with the rent. It was just a fee, $1,300 fee.
Okay, what does the lease say?
I spoke to him about that.
Where in the
I
lease
said
does it
to
say, oh,
him,
by the way, you're eating a month that I just get, even though I've invented a new month. It's called Primus month. And you just got to pay. Where's that in the lease? That $1,300 that she's giving you goes to just your pocket as a fee.
That's not in the lease.
It's not, right?
No.
Okay. But we all know that she gave you $3,900.
Yes, she did.
Okay. In the lease, it doesn't acknowledge receiving $3,900. It just says your rent is $1,300 and your security is $1,300. So as far as I'm concerned, legally speaking, that is first, last, and security. Now, have you given him notice that you're moving out?
Yes,
Over what,
I did.
$100 and something rug? Because he wouldn't pay, because he
it
told
w-
you he would pay for the rug. You did say you'd pay for the rug, right?
Yes, I did.
And
I
then
took
what
that
happened?
off her
Tell me
back.
what happened after that.
I took that off her bat.
Because what?
She's just
'Cause she got nasty.
She's proven to be very difficult.
Okay,
to work
how
with.
so?
So if the hurricane is responsible for the ceiling collapsing, is the landlord responsible?
No, I don't think so. I don't know Mother Nature, so I don't think that.
Oh, you know, I know Mother Nature by her first name. What do you think?
I think it's tough luck for the tenant.
Tough luck for the tenant. You're going to be the last word.
Mother Nature always wins, so. Easy.
Mother Nature always wins. Mother Nature is not being sued here, so that's not the case going inside the courtroom.
I got a lot of complaints from the contractors about working with her.
So you have not paid the last 2 months' rent, correct? And what is your reason for that?
Because I gave him notice that I would be moving from the apartment.
When are you moving? You still haven't moved.
I am moving on Saturday.
Okay. And so your feeling is what? That when you give somebody notice, you get to live out the security deposit?
That's what I mentioned to him, that I would live out the security deposits.
Okay.
that
But you know you
was
can't do
there.
that, right? Do you know that?
Well, I was told otherwise by the legal aid attorney. I went to them
your
and I
legal aid
spoke to
attorney
them.
is wrong. That is not a right that you have. Security deposit is a security deposit. Rent is rent. Okay? You don't get to do that to just decide that you're going to live out your security deposit. So now, where are we? You are suing him for two things, essentially. And you've paid no rent for 2 months. One thing you're suing him for is the after effects of Hurricane Irene?
Irene.
Okay. And what you say is, I have a couple $100 in damage there. Why does a landlord have to pay for the hurricane? Did he cause the hurricane?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Is there something he did wrong you can point to that caused the hurricane to damage you?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't,
then he doesn't have to pay for the hurricane. The answer is he doesn't have to pay for the hurricane.
Like I told him,
He may be
I didn't
almighty and
feel
all-powerful, but he
right.
did not cause the hurricane.
No, I know that.
Okay,
Your
that's
Honor.
God's will. That is what we call an act of God. Okay?
I definitely didn't blame him for the
Well, you're
hurricane.
suing him for it. Now, let's talk about the other half of your lawsuit, which is another $100 and something, almost $200, $203. For the vase and the entertainment unit is the workers. The rug and the bookcase is the hurricane. We've talked about the hurricane. Let's talk about the workers. I have a dispute between the two of you on the whole issue of whether or not they have permission to come in there. But how does the permission cause the damage? It doesn't really. The permission thing is sort of a separate issue. I tend to believe you on it and not him because I'm mad at him over that whole little imaginary month thing. But how did that cause the damage? Clumsiness or carelessness caused the damage. Just because he hired someone doesn't mean he's responsible for everything that they do. So if they do something that's clumsy, you sort of need to sue them and not him. Okay?
Well,
The counterclaim that you have against her, she says you told her it was 2 months security deposit. You say it wasn't. Good, I'm going with your theory, that it wasn't. Then what is it? You want me to believe it's nothing. It's just a fee. You have no support for that in the lease, so I find she gets credit for it. Because I'm going to look at it exactly like what every other landlord did, which is first, last, and security. That's what landlords do. So why should I pretend it's a fee that you don't have in the lease? No, I'm not going to do it. Have I made myself clearer this time? All right.
Yes.
Now we're left with last month. I'm ordering you to pay the last month, okay? Now, the part that's bothering me is that we have this Saturday issue. I can't very well say, well, let's wait and see what happens Saturday, because you owe that rent, you see? So I'm ordering you to pay that. Now, you are entitled to that full security deposit back, assuming there are no damages. My verdict in this case, then, is a net judgment in favor of the defendant in this case for $1,300. That's my judgment.
Hold on right there, please.
All right, so it's the defendant who collects here. Step on in here. What was your reaction when the judge ruled that?
Well, I understand where she was going with her opinion, with her decision. So,
Do you think you were a difficult tenant?
no, I was never a difficult tenant. From the time I moved into Mr. Primus's apartment, there was one problem after another. So I just figured it's best that I move on.
If you hadn't sued him, he wouldn't have collected probably on this. Now he's collected on a countersuit.
Well, he still owes me the $1,300 deposit.
All right, you just head right around the corner here. All right, so Mr. Primus, come on in here. Are you satisfied how this thing comes out?
Somewhat, yes. Yes.
Somewhat, meaning what?
She did agree to pay a month's fee in order to move into the apartment right away.
Why didn't you put that in the lease?
You live and you learn. Next time, I will do that.
All right. Could I charge a hallway fee to you right now if I wanted to?
I'm leaving.
Harvey?
So if this is a all-out hurricane, then clearly it's an act of God. If it's a storm and the roof is in a weakened state, the result would be different because it's not an act of God. It's something the landlord could have prevented. So that's going to do it for this session of the People's Court. You can follow us, by the way, on Twitter and Facebook. We would love it if you did. So again, as Doug Llewellyn said, don't take the law into your own hands. You take them to court.